Hello and welcome to a Tiny Rhino's video tutorial series on setting up your site as an e-commerce website. Today our goal is to build a website similar to the one in front of us right now. Hopefully you're already up and running using the WordPress platform. However, if you're not there yet, please just kind of take a tour over to our blog and watch the 30-minute tutorial we have on setting up a WordPress website from scratch. What I'm going to do is I'm going to provide a link to that tutorial just in the description below. However, if your website is already set up, we can just jump in right from here. So for today's tutorial, we're going to use a free program called WooCommerce to transform your WordPress website into a site that can accept payments online through your WordPress installation. The purchasing process from the customer standpoint is very professional and totally integrates with the look of your brand. And from an admin standpoint, running the WooCommerce plugin is a total breeze. And in my opinion, it's really one of the best options out there. So again, let's get started. WooCommerce is a free plugin actually that allows you to sell products and accept payments online. So in this video series, some things that I want to explore with you are how to install and configure the general settings of WooCommerce, how to add products, and that means both physical and digital goods as one-off sales as well as subscription products. Also, how to configure the checkout page and accept payments through both PayPal and credit card. As well, we'll look at methods to accept things like checks and so on. Next, we're also going to look at how to configure emails for both the admin and for customers. We'll also talk about how to set up coupons, how to set up tax calculations, and how to set up shipping costs. But first, we need to download WooCommerce before we do anything. So we do this by going over to Plugins and then Add New. Search for WooCommerce and then click Install and then Activate. WooCommerce at this point will then prompt you to create important pages that are going to be needed to make the plugin function properly, such as your checkout page, your cart page, your shop page, and so on. So simply activate these pages by clicking on Install WooCommerce Pages. Once you've activated those pages, you're ready to go. So let's start configuring our e-commerce website. Begin by going to WooCommerce and then Settings and then clicking on the General tab. Now select your base location, selling countries, and currency. Next, we need to add products. So for this tutorial, we're going to add 3 different types of products: a tangible product, an intangible product, and a subscription product. Let's begin by adding a tangible product. So to add a tangible product, simply click on Products and then Add Products. Give your product a title and description. Here at a Tiny Rhino, we actually offer do-it-yourself SEO tools for WordPress webmasters. So we're just going to imagine that we've setting up this product to send a physical copy of a marketing report to one of our members, which we don't do, but let's imagine we did. So to set this up, after adding our title and description, we're going to look under the Product Data tab. Now notice here that we can select Simple Product. Do that and then enter the price. You can then click on the Inventory tab to enter inventory if you carry products. We'll say we have 100 of these products in stock. We can then add a featured image to represent this product. Here we'll grab our Tiny Rhino SEO report image. At this point, we can now click on Save. Now we can go to the front end of our site and we'll actually be able to see this new product on the shop page. Click on the product to go to the cart page and then to the checkout page. If a customer orders this product, your inventory will automatically adjust. Now let's talk about adding a digital product such as an ebook, some digital music, software, or e-learning content. For example, we actually use this feature ourselves because we offer software to help WordPress webmasters get higher organic rankings. So here I'm going to add a product from our backend, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this type of product that essentially follows the same steps previously when we added our tangible product. Here I'm going to add the price of $19, which is the cost of our cheapest membership services at a Tiny Rhino. The main difference here is that you'll want to select virtual beside simple product. You can deliver your virtual products in many different ways, but one way is that once the order is completed, you could include a link to the digital product on the customer receipt page or the passback page or through an email. But another option is actually for those of you who are selling downloadable products is to select this downloadable option as well. This will provide extended fields allowing you to upload your file using the Add File button. And once your customer purchases from you, they will then be emailed a copy of your digital product. Again, add an image and then click Save. Now when we go to our / shop page, we'll notice two products: our tangible product, which is our physical SEO report, and this digital product, which is access to our do-it-yourself WordPress digital marketing tools. Another thing you might want to consider actually if you're selling digital products is this neat little plugin called WooCommerce Checkout for Digital Goods. This plugin costs only $6 and it removes the shipping and billing address fields from your checkout page to help you streamline the purchase process for your customers. So what I'm going to do for those of you who are selling digital goods is I am just going to provide a link for that plugin in the description box below. Which brings me to my next point, which is now we're going to set up a subscription product. This is actually the real setup that we use here at A Tiny Rhino, since access to our do-it-yourself SEO tools are set up on a subscription basis. So to sell a subscription product, you'll need a WooCommerce extension called simply WooCommerce Subscriptions, which sells for $199 for a single site license. Once the subscription plugin is activated on your site, a new option called Simple Subscription will be available from this drop-down list. Select that and then fill out the subscription price and how often your customers need to pay. For example, we'll choose $19 per month for all time. We can then add our featured image and then click Update. Now when we visit our shop page, all three of our products show up on this page: the tangible product, the virtual product, and the subscription product. I should actually just say here while we're on the topic, if you're actually interested in getting more traffic to your WordPress website, we do offer, not just as this example, but for real do-it-yourself SEO tools for WordPress webmasters. We have a suite of over 50 tools aimed at helping WordPress webmasters get more traffic, optimize their website, capture leads, get more backlinks, and so on. So for example, we have a keyword research tool, a rank tracking tool, and many other tools. So if you're interested, head over to atinyrhino.com once you've completed this tutorial, of course, and you can even sign up for our 7 free day trial if you're interested. Okay, so let's jump back in here. Next, let's set up our checkout page to accept PayPal and credit cards. Currently, the default WooCommerce checkout page looks like this. Notice how we have direct bank transfer and check payment as options. However, I want to simplify this page and make the checkout process simple and professional for my end user. So I want to only allow people to pay through PayPal or credit card. And I'm going to show you how to do just that. We'll begin by adding PayPal as a payment option. So to do this, simply click on WooCommerce and then Settings, then click on the Checkout tab. You'll notice a checkbox for Force Secure Checkout. You don't actually need to click on this if you're only going to be selling through PayPal. That's because with PayPal transactions, the transaction itself actually takes place off of your website on the PayPal platform. So now scroll to the bottom and where you see PayPal, click on Settings. If you want to enable PayPal payments, you'll need to click on Enable. Then simply enter your PayPal address. Please note that you need to have a verified business PayPal account to make this work. Setting this type of PayPal account up is really, really easy. So now once you're done that, so now on your PayPal settings page, insert your PayPal email address into the PayPal email field as well as in the receiver email field. Now we need this identity token you'll see here. To get this token, simply head over to PayPal and log in. Next, click on your profile and then the settings tab. Then look for the My Selling Tools tab. From here, look for the website preferences link and then click on Update. On this page, make sure that auto return is turned on. Then under the return URL, either put your website URL or the passback page that you want a customer redirected to after the purchase. Maybe a thank you page or a download page or something along those lines. Under payment data transfer options, select On. Next, click Save. PayPal should show your identity token on this page right away, but if you don't see it there, simply go back to Update beside Website Preferences and then scroll down until you find the identity token under Payment Data Transfer. Once you're ready, copy that identity token and paste it into your PayPal settings page. Click Save. That's all you need to do. Congratulations, you can officially accept payments on your WordPress website. If we now go to our shop page, we'll see PayPal as an option. We simply can select that option and then go through the checkout process. But what if we wanted to offer people the chance to pay with a credit card without ever having to leave our site? That, surprisingly, is very easy to do as well. The process is slightly more involved and requires a little more security, but even someone with no coding experience whatsoever can set this up seriously within about a half an hour. So I'm going to show you how to do that now. I want to begin by saying that this process does require a little bit of an investment on your part. However, the investment is usually under $100, and it's probably going to be one of the best $100 you ever spend. So let's begin by signing up for a merchant account. Many merchant accounts are complex and require a long registration process. However, I'm going to introduce you to a mean, lean little US startup that has experienced wild growth due to its really easy client onboarding process. This company is called Stripe. This company has done a wonderful job of simplifying the complex world of e-commerce for the non-techie entrepreneur who's on a budget. The first thing you need to do to make Stripe work with WordPress is to go over to Woo Themes and purchase Stripe plugin add-on for WooCommerce. I'll provide a link for that plugin in the description of this tutorial as well. A single site license for this plugin costs $79. Once you've downloaded and installed that plugin, you will notice a new tab under WooCommerce, Settings, and Checkout. You'll see an option called Stripe. Click on Settings. Notice that Stripe requires these secret and publishable keys to work. Getting these keys is incredibly easy and will only take us a few minutes. So let's get these keys and head over to Stripe to set this up. So setting a Stripe account up is also very simple. In fact, it's so simple that when you go to their website, they only ask you to create a username and password for you to get started. And if that application process is still too complex for you and you want to sign up only after testing them out, you can do that too by clicking on Skip this step. As far as onboarding goes, it really doesn't get much easier than that. Next, click on Go Straight to Dashboard. From here, click on Account Settings. From here, you'll see a tab called API Keys. Click that. There are 4 API keys that you need to copy from here and paste into your WordPress website back on your WooCommerce settings page. Be careful to copy and paste the test and publishable keys in the right section. Also, I found that sometimes when I paste these keys, an extra blank space is added at the end of the key, so ensure your key ends when the last character ends, and that there are, of course, no extra spaces before your key starts either. Also, you'll notice in the key itself, you will see if the key is a live or a test key. The test key allows you to create a test environment to test transactions without charging an actual credit card. So we'll do that now to make sure that it's all working. We'll insert our keys and then click Enable Test Mode. Click Save. Now, let's go back to the front end and purchase one of the products we've just created. Notice now on the checkout page, you'll be prompted to enter a fake credit card number. Copy and paste that number. However, when you enter an expiry date, ensure that the date is actually later than today's date or it won't work. Next, enter any random CSV code, which should just be 3 numbers, for example, 345. Now make your purchase. That's it. This is exactly what your customer will see when they buy from you. When you're ready, you'll want to go back to your Stripe account and take your account out of test mode by making it a live account. Making an account live simply requires that you fill out a short form with your contact details. After you've done that, you can add a bank account to your Stripe account, and Stripe will automatically deposit your funds into your account every day or 7 days, depending on where you're located. And to get there, simply go to Transfers and then click on Add Bank Account. Stripe doesn't charge you a monthly fee or anything like that to use their services. Like PayPal, they simply take a small percentage of each sale. So once everything is set up and working the way you planned, just make sure both your Stripe account and your WooCommerce account are taken out of test mode. However, be aware that a live Stripe account also requires an SSL certificate to be installed on your site to work properly. You can't use Stripe without an SSL. While you can use your site in test mode without an SSL certificate installed, however, when you decide to go live, you'll need to ask your host to install an SSL certificate for you. Most hosts can install an SSL within a couple of hours for a cost of usually somewhere between $20 to $60 for a year. It's very inexpensive for what you get, and it's actually a very easy process to set up. The only thing you're going to need to do is to click on a verification link that your host or the SSL issuer will send to you through an email owned by your domain, just to verify that you actually are in fact the domain owner. After that, all you need to do is wait. Your host will handle the installation and the configuration for you. Once your SSL is installed, you can disable test mode and click on Save. On the Checkout tab, you can now click Force Secure Checkout, which means that when a customer visits your checkout page, they will visit the page securely. And remember, you can tell if a page is secure by looking for the HTTPS in the URL. Unsecured pages don't include the S in the URL. A live Stripe account will only work with a website that has an SSL certificate installed on it. Okay, so let's keep moving along here. Next, we want to customize the default email templates that are set up to go out when someone purchases from you. The default emails will work just fine. You don't have to touch a thing here, but it's nice to brand your receipts and all the transactional emails to represent your company a little better. To do this, go to Emails and then enter your from name, your from email address, the URL to a header image you'd like to use, your email footer text, and the colors you'd like to use for your email. You can also customize what is said in each email if you'd like. You can include links to products or other important information by editing the email template itself. Simply click on the email template you want to modify. For example, let's imagine that we want to edit the new account email. Notice you can change the email subject, heading, and email type. Next, you can click on Copy File to Theme. From here, you can now edit the template by clicking on View Template. Now here, you'll notice the default WooCommerce content showing people their username and password, but we want more than that, so we can include a welcome paragraph as well as any helpful links we want to include to get our customers started. Once you're done editing your email template, you can click on Save Changes. Next, let's add coupons. Adding coupons through WooCommerce is also very easy. So just simply click on WooCommerce and then Coupons. Click on Add Coupons. Then in the title, include the coupon code itself. So if we wanted our coupon code to be, say, for example, Spring Sale, all one word, we would include that coupon code here. Then we can state what kind of coupon it is by modifying the settings. We can create a cart discount for, say, $10 by selecting cart discount from the dropdown. We can also set usage restrictions on this tab. For example, we can say if we're going to give someone $10 off that they need to spend a minimum of $100. Anything under $100 in the coupon wouldn't work. We can also limit the coupon to only certain products or product categories by typing in the name of the product you want your coupon to apply to and then selecting that product. Now the coupon will only work for that particular product. You can also set usage limits by clicking on the Usage Limit tab. For example, we can limit this coupon to be valid only one time per user. And then when we're ready, we can just simply click on Update. Now, when we go to our front end, we can purchase the product and apply the coupon code. The discount will be made automatically and the customer can check out after saving a little bit of money. Now let's talk about setting up taxes. Properly configuring tax settings needs to be done on a case-by-case basis, and it's going to be determined by the types of products that you're selling as well as the jurisdiction you're selling within. So for the purpose of this tutorial, we will use a sample tax rate of 10% just to make things easy to understand and to help you understand the principles. If you'll be including taxes on products, you'll begin by selecting Enable Taxes and Tax Calculations. Next, you can establish if the prices will be entered with tax or exclusive of tax. So for example, if we have a tax rate of 10%, we can choose inclusive when we add the product price of, say, $10, and that price then will include the tax that your customers will be paying. However, it's more common for most people to select exclusive of tax. This means that an extra 10% tax will be added on top of the product, making your product cost $11 on the checkout page instead of $10. Next, we need to establish how we want our site to calculate tax geographically. To do this, look for Calculate Tax Based On field. Customer shipping address is selected by default and can be kept like that. The same with shipping tax classes. These settings are going to work perfect for about 99% of users. The same goes for additional tax classes field. The standard rate, reduced rate, and zero tax rate will work perfectly in almost all cases. So now let's actually create our tax. Our 10% tax falls under the standard rate tax class. So let's go to standard rate and then click on Insert Row. Now to include 10% tax on all transactions that happen on our site, we can simply insert our tax rate and give it a name and then save. So for example, we'll enter 10% and we'll simply call it sales tax. Compound taxes are applied on top of other taxes, so we'll leave this unchecked. And in our case, let's say we don't want to charge taxes on our shipping costs as well. So we'll deactivate that checkbox. Next, click on Save Changes. Now, a 10% sales tax will be added to all of our orders. So let's go to our shop page and order a product. Notice how we have the taxes applied on our checkout pages. However, in most cases, you won't want taxes applied globally. For instance, in most cases, a company won't charge a customer outside of their jurisdiction taxes. So you only want to apply taxes for customers who order within your jurisdiction. So to set this up, let's go back to our standard tax rate and enter the country we want to charge tax to. Let's say that we're a Canadian company. So what we can do here is we can enter the country code CA for Canada to charge taxes only to customers located in Canada. To see a full list of country codes, click on the link found here. You can even go further than this by adding different tax rates for different states or provinces, or even by zip codes or cities. However, for demonstration purposes, we'll only add tax rates for one country. Now notice on our checkout page, once I include my billing address country as Canada, I'm going to be charged a 10% tax on this purchase. However, if I select the United States as my billing address, then I'm not going to be charged that sales tax. Again, remember, we set this up under WooCommerce, Settings, and Tax, and then Calculate Tax Based On. In our example, we're using customer shipping address. However, we could also use shop base address or billing address. So that's how you set up taxes. So now let's move on to discuss how to set up shipping. Setting up shipping can be as easy or as complex as your business requires. For the purpose of this tutorial, we're going to set up two different shipping options, free and regular flat rate shipping. But if you'd like, you could also set up express shipping or any other shipping method that you'd like. To set up shipping, simply go to WooCommerce, Settings, and then Shipping. Click on Enable Shipping. Here you can select Enable Shipping Calculate on the shop page or hide the shipping cost until the address is entered. Next, you can choose to display your shipping methods as radio buttons or even as a drop-down list if you'd like. Next, you can select how you want to determine where your product gets shipped. You can select to billing address or to shipping address. Next, you can restrict which countries you'll ship to. Below that is a list of the shipping methods you have activated. Any shipping method with a check mark under the status is live on your site. So let's play around with free shipping. Simply click on Settings and then enable or disable this shipping method. We're going to enable this option and then select free shipping requires a minimum order. For example, if you're going to give someone free shipping, maybe you ask that they order over $100 worth of product from you. But for here, for simplicity's sake, we're just going to select $8 and we're going to save our changes. Now let's go and add a flat rate shipping method. Again, click on Shipping tab and then click on Settings beside Flat Rate. Click on Enable this shipping method. Next, select if it's available in all countries or just specific countries. Make any changes to tax status you'd like, and then enter the cost of this shipping method. We're going to make the shipping method cost $5. Next, we can select how this cost will be applied. For example, do you want to apply it on a per product basis or a per order basis? We'll apply it on a per order basis. Next, click Save Changes. Now notice as we go to the front end and we go through the checkout process that our $5 shipping expense is added to the cost of the product. Well, that concludes this tutorial on setting up e-commerce on your WordPress website. If you're looking to increase your site traffic, increase leads, or get more sales, head over to AtinyRhino to get access to our suite of really powerful do-it-yourself SEO tools for WordPress webmasters. We offer tools such as keyword research tools, rank tracking tools, lead generation tools, and backlink gathering tools, to name only a few. Thanks again for watching. Have a great day.